What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the H Panel, the show where I bring on guests from all different backgrounds to talk all the things mental health. I'm your host, Harry Potvin, and today I'm coming at you live from my sister's closet. I had no time to go into the studio today, so we had to improvise a little bit. So for this episode, I am joined by Steven Behn. Steven is a German National Taekwondo athlete and a graduate of sports psychology. Steven was so fun to talk to, and I wanted to thank him again for coming on and having this discussion with me. Also, before we get into our ad courtesy of yourmd.ca, this is episode number 50 of the H Panel. Woo! Another celebration. April is just full of them. I want to thank all of you who listen to the show, who rate the show, who share the show. It means so much to me. I just got confirmation that we're in top 10% of podcasts worldwide. That's huge, man. I didn't actually think I would get to this point, but it's been such a fun ride, and I'm just glad you guys wanted to, come on this ride with me. I really appreciate it, guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You make every episode worth it. Now, before we get into our ad, please like, comment, share, subscribe, give 5 stars if you're on a podcast platform, share with someone who might want to hear this episode. It's a really great one, and I can't wait for you to listen. I will talk to you all very soon. Thank you again for your constant support. I really appreciate it. Peace. So before we get into the interview with Stevie, I am here with Sean Kanungo from Your MD. Sean, what's going on, my man?
Well, listen, first of all, Harry, I need to congratulate you, all right? You made it to 50. Listen, most podcasts, they fan out at like 12. Here you are at number 50. How are you feeling?
I feel good, man. I mean, here's the thing. I wasn't even counting. I'm one of those guys who kind of has tunnel vision when I do these things. I just love what I do, and I'm just sitting down talking to people. I think it's, truly a blessing. And then when I started doing the math, I was like, oh shit, I actually made it to 50. When I first started the podcast, I was like, yeah, I'll probably make it to 10. And then when I made it to 10, I was like, okay, I might make it to 20. And then I never thought I'd get to 50. So it's really the fact that I can sit here and meet all these different people from around the world, like Stevie in Germany, and just, talk about things that we're both like-minded about and passionate about. It's truly an honor.
Well, you know what? I think it is an accomplishment, and I think that's one of the reasons why, I'm from a company called yourmd.ca. We're a digital health startup here in Canada. And I think one of the reasons why we want to connect with you is because you're putting in the work, man. This is no joke. It takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in putting this together. Whether it's putting together a podcast, and you're hearing this in the 50th episode. The audio quality is great. Harry's putting a lot of time into this. So do this man a favor, okay? He made it to 50. Rate, review, subscribe wherever you are. It would do him a lot of good. And I'm from a digital health startup here in Canada called yourmd.ca. I'm not here to pitch. Actually, I'm not going to pitch anything that we're doing. I'm just here to celebrate you. And congratulations, man. You made it to 50. I'm excited to get into this episode with Stevie. He's a Taekwondo guru and excited to learn more.
Thank you, man. Yes. I'm very excited to show this episode to everyone. And you guys know I'll put the link to yourmd.ca in the bio. Be sure to check them out. It's a really great startup and big reason why they're sponsoring this episode, because I believe in them and I love what they're doing over there. So please enjoy this episode number 50 from the H Panel. I'm Harry Potvin, and this is the H Panel. We are good to go. Steven, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for inviting me.
I just wanted to make a big shout out here because you are actually the 50th episode that I have recorded. So thank you again for coming on, and big shout out to me personally. I'm feeling myself today.
Oh, good. Love it, man. Yeah. 50 episodes. I think you've come a long way, and you still got a long way to go. And I'm happy to be the 50th part of in your journey.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm definitely further. I never thought I'd get to 50. But it's definitely, now that I've moved on, it's way further from where I want to go. So it's just a little checkpoint. Nothing crazy, right? So Before we get too started here, I actually wanted to get to know you a little better. So what got you into Taekwondo? Like what pushed you to start doing it?
Yeah, it's like the beginning isn't that spectacular. My dad is my Taekwondo trainer since forever. So yeah, he's been teaching Taekwondo for I think 30 years or something, maybe 40. Um, and yeah, I was born into this whole sport context, whole Taekwondo context. From belly to birth, I've already been in the gym. Yeah, so it was clear that I would enter in Taekwondo. But in the beginning, I went to classes just to be with my dad, but wasn't really, able to difference between dad and teacher in the same, same class. So actually, I stopped after 2 years or something because I, had too much problems with the whole situation. Didn't work out. I was crying the whole time. Oh, Papa Behn, can you be my dad in the class? And of course, it wasn't possible, so I stopped. But after 2 or 3 years, with 11, 12 something, I got back into it, gave it a try, and then I really started to understand the whole process of the sport. The whole philosophical part. From then on, it was a passion, but before it was just crying because I wasn't able to be with my dad like I could at home.
Yeah, it's weird to have that distinction, right? Like my dad wasn't my coach for swimming necessarily, but growing up he would come in for a couple sessions and coach us, and I always thought that those would be the easiest practices because he would give me the special treatment, and they ended up being the hardest because I would go to him and be like, "Hey, so you think you could lighten up on us?" And he'd be like, "That's it, way harder set than I had originally." I'd be like, "What the fuck?" Like dads are hard on you, man. Dads are tough.
I think for those athletes where the parents are the coaches as well. Normally, from outside of the sport, people think, yeah, it's easy for you because your dad or your mom gives you everything. But actually, from my experience, it's way harder. But that's also part of the learning process to get over this and improved and to get better. That nobody is like, oh yeah, it's your dad.
Yeah, I know. They're like, "Yo, your dad's kind of an asshole." It's like, oh, don't look at him like that, man. Um, was there like a certain point growing up, like with him as your coach, where you kind of that mindset shifted, or was it like a gradual kind of just getting used to him being there?
Yeah, like I said, from what I can remember, it's this break that made the difference. Before I wasn't able to handle it well, and after that, we had a lot of conversations at home. What does it mean to be in class? I can be like at home. You gotta, as a see me as a teacher, as someone who teaches you something and who's not like hugging you all the time and caring for you. He told me, "You're not like my son in class. You're like everyone else. You're the same. I don't see you as my son in class. If you understand it, you can come. If you don't understand this, you can come." And I said, "Okay, I understand now." With 11, I sorted it out, and that was from what I can remember a little mindset shift.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I love talking to athletes and being friends with athletes because I feel like there's this general s- kind of like not energy, but like you're taught at such a young age to have time management, be disciplined, like be there for yourself. It's like a different mindset, and you can just kind of tell who's an athlete and who never did sports. Like I don't mean like you don't have to do sports your whole life, but even just a couple years, you can just tell.
Especially in youth age. Some people start to train, in their 20s or something. And this is nice, of course, but it makes a difference if you start at young age because sports teaches us so much about ourselves, about others. It's I love not just Taekwondo, but the whole sport and what it teaches us, especially in young age where our brain is still, changeable. Plastic neuroplasticity is, extremely important in the young age. So yeah, I agree 100%. If might take some years, but when I have childrens, I will definitely send them to sports. I don't think it will be possible for them not to go to sports.
Oh yeah, no. My kids are getting thrown in sports right away, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
What was my question? I was just gonna. Oh yeah. So how old are you right now?
25.
25. So you've been doing Taekwondo for a hot minute.
Yeah. Must be if I started 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, some years.
That's
19 something. Yeah, 19 years.
wow, that's insane. So was there because I just started doing Muay Thai because I
Okay.
needed something to get out of the house and do because I'm done swimming now. And I am so terrible. It's not even funny. So was there like a certain age or a certain year where like the movements and the whole idea of fighting became more natural to you as opposed to like just going through the motions trying to figure things out?
Mm. What I tell many people that I talk with when they ask me, have you always been in this level or something? I tell them actually that the truth is actually that I sucked for a long, long time. Like maybe until my opinion, but for years I was very, very bad in what I did, and I had zero talent. This I can surely say. I had zero talent. I wasn't flexible at all. Was afraid of doing all the movements, and yeah, like if you saw me in the beginning, you wouldn't think, oh, okay, maybe he will good. He will be good someday. So
Jesus.
um, and actually I'm very proud of it,
Yeah.
because I appreciate it more when someone has zero talent but makes everything out of himself, and yeah, keeps improving day by day, month by month, year by year. I appreciate that more also in my students than someone who's very talented but just relies on it and is lazy and stuff. I don't like that, because maximizing the potential is yeah, what I prefer. And I lived it by myself, so, and I'm still in the process. I'm not saying I'm so good now, but always improving.
Yeah.
Always, I'm trying to always cultivate this beginner mindset.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Back in my university, they did this thing where like when they were trying to make the team, if you had talent but you were lazy, you were gone. They didn't care. It was like, yeah, you might help us get points, but your overall like energy and like the atmosphere you're cultivating is just we don't want that. Like
Yeah,
I agree with you. I'd much rather someone who's not talented but shows up every day, works their ass off and always listens as opposed to
yeah,
some super fast or really talented dude who just kind of hears you and goes, whatever, I don't care about you.
yeah. It's in our sport. It's a little harder actually, because not so many people in the world do taekwondo.
Mm,
It's many, but it's not a mainstream sport. At least not in our Western countries or societies. In Asia, it's different. It's part of the culture actually in Korea. So um, it's a little different over there. But in the Western countries, you don't have that many people who do taekwondo. So the talented tend to be the better, especially in the youth section.
mm-hmm.
Where did I want to go? Yeah, but in the mainstream sport, in the US, for example, American football and stuff, everyone is talented. Everyone has a certain level, but the ones who have the good work ethic and invest 100% in themselves, these are the ones that in the end, I'm gonna make the teams, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
getting drafted into the pro leagues and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You can even look at it in like normal life because when I was working, I worked on a food truck one summer and like in a restaurant, And I went into the job interview and they were like, do you have any cooking experience? And I said, no. Like I was like, I've never cooked before. And they're like, why would you apply here? And I was like, I don't know. But then that was the only question they asked me. They were like, have you cooked before? I said no. And then they're like, you're hired. And I was like, what? Why? And they were like, because like kids who go to culinary school, and this isn't a shot at culinary students, it's just an example, but they were like, kids who go to culinary school, sometimes it gets to their head, and if like the main chef gives them an order or like tells them to do something, they'll go off and do their own thing because they're like, I'm talented, I've gone through school, I know how to do it, don't tell me what to do. Whereas I'm a dumbass and I have no idea what I'm doing, so anything they say, I'm gonna go, yeah, of course, okay. So it's the same thing in life. It's like you can be talented, but if you don't have that work ethic and you don't have that willingness to learn, you're not going to go anywhere.
I agree 100%. Actually, there's nothing to add.
Yeah.
If you get this in life, you will have success.
Exactly, 100%. So going back to Taekwondo, do you find that it's growing in popularity in more westernized civilization, or is it still kind of where it's been?
It's definitely growing.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Like I said, still not like, okay, I can actually compare it to when I talk to stranger people about Taekwondo now than when I talked to them when I was younger, when I was 10 years ago. When I talked to someone 10 years ago and I told them, yeah, I do Taekwondo, their usual reaction was like, I don't, is it like karate? Kung Fu, isn't it? Bruce Lee. Yeah, you're doing the Bruce Lee stuff.
Mhm.
It, very. They didn't really know the sport. Just okay, must be something with martial arts. And if I talk to people now, 10 years later, they say, yeah, Taekwondo. Yeah, I've seen it in the Olympic Games. I've seen it over there and there. More people know about it. Maybe some people even tried it. So there has definitely been a shift, but still it's a niche still.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it used to be this thing where like if you heard Taekwondo or you heard Muay Thai or you heard any of the mixed martial arts, you just kind of shove them all into one category. You just assume they were all the same thing. I remember being so confused as a kid because my best friend did Taekwondo and I was like, I don't know the difference between any of these things.
Yeah.
So
If you don't if you don't I don't know, investigate, or if you don't look it precisely up on the internet, or if you don't see it in the Olympics in TV, from where should you know?
mm,
From where you don't see it in TV, you don't see it in the normal channels we have. So where should you know?
yeah, no, exactly.
Martial arts in the TVs. This is where people get to know these martial arts. It's always like you said, this meshed up kind of sport. So,
Hmm.
but it's changing and it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, swimming was kind of in that same boat for a while until Michael Phelps showed up. Because then he started making it popular for people who didn't care about swimming. And then it slowly got more popular. Now we've got like pro teams, which is like huge. Like a
Yeah.
pro league, which was unheard of for me growing up. Because every time you were like, yeah, I swim, they're like, yeah, I swim too. You're nothing special. It's like, no, you swim in your backyard pool. I swim 10K a morning. Like we're not the same here.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully it starts building in popularity, man. Because it is fascinating. Because well, for me anyway, like I look at that, I'm like, my body can't move like that. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you guys spin. It's incredible, really.
That's the way I see it too.
Hmm.
It's really, that's what I love about Taekwondo. Actually, it's dynamic. It's both strength, but yet it's also about flexibility. It's it's harmony.
Yeah.
You got to be strong but flexible as well. You got to be you need to have some mental fire in yourself to really fight, but still you got to be calm inside. So it's this is what most people also know about Asian culture and stuff, yin and yang. It's actually true. You need to have both one side this, one side that, calm, fire, strength, flexibility, elegance as well. So yeah, everything is inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love it.
Yeah. So are you in sports psychology or did you graduate?
I'm still studying sports psychology.
Nice. So has anything you've learned in those courses or in that program, has anything translated over to your fighting skill?
Basically, I would say everything,
Mm,
because everything I learn, I try to reflect on it. Is it, how can this help me? If I learn something in university, I directly think about, okay, how can this help me get a better fighter, better athlete, better performer? Yeah, so a lot of things that I focus on right now is the mindset component for training, because of the situation up, because we don't have competitions. So I try to work on relaxation skills, mindset skills, stay motivated for trainings, this kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's, of course, it's a lot to learn, and not everyone is willing to learn it. But if I could, I would tell everyone to really dive into this whole topic, because it will definitely make you a better athlete.
Mm-hmm.
In the elite class, everyone has the same physical conditions, but not the same psychological conditions. And this is where you can, differentiate between someone who's scoring the golden point in the final round in a world championship game and someone who loses in the final sudden death match.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And it's so important, like for all sports, definitely, but also for like individual sports. I find that it's like another level, because when you're on a team sport, like I was on rugby, and if I wasn't feeling it, like the team could hype you up, they could get you in the zone. But when you're on your own and it's just you and the other opponent, like you got to find a way to be your own cheerleader, or else you're done, man.
Yeah, of course, you're not 100% alone, because you have your coach.
Mm,
But the coach also has limited impact on your performance. It definitely an important impact, but of course it's limited. And you're right, it's one-on-one, or in some other disciplines it's only you on the court. So yeah, definitely, it's that's actually something that I'm missing sometimes about Taekwondo, is that during the performance it's an individual sport, and I really love seeing American football, soccer, where they hype themselves up. Yeah, this is something that I really appreciate in team sports, although I don't experience it by myself. But just seeing it already hypes me up, gets me motivated.
hmm Yeah, no, exactly. You see the team all hyped up on screen, and you're starting to jump around in the room too. You're like, "Let's
Yeah,
go!" You're like,
let's go. Yeah.
I could go on that soccer field, and I could kick ass. I'm so pumped." So in terms of mentally preparing yourself for a match, how
Yeah.
does that look for you, or what does that look like for you? Like weeks before a big match, the night before, and then the morning of.
Depends on the competition, to be honest. If it's a regional competition, um, I I start to prepare mentally, one day before, the evening before. But if we talk about world championships or European championships, the whole preparation for me starts 1 week before, mentally. 1 week before the competition, or 1 week before we fly to the country where the championship is. I really try, like, before I train enough. I know that I always train enough. I have to, slow myself down a little the week before. So, I try to get some relaxation and maybe visit a spa, meditate a little. Only good quality sessions, shorter, but, good quality sessions, and really trying to focus, visualize a lot.
hmm
That's the week before. Then we fly to the competition, and I just try to enjoy, actually, because if I put too much pressure on myself, I can't really enjoy the whole experience. And yeah, that's why if we travel with the whole national team, I'm really trying to joking around with all the guys and girls and seeing something from the country, distracting myself a little, not thinking 24/7 about the competition. This kind of stuff. And the competition day is a little different, not that different, but a little. In the morning, I already feel that's always the same pattern with me. I feel when I wake up, okay, it's game day, it's match day, let's go. And I just try again to relax myself, breathe, listen to music. Depends if I have a feeling, okay, I gotta hype myself a little up. The music is also hyping me up. If I think, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating or putting too much pressure on myself, I calm myself down. And funnily, I don't know if anyone else has this experience as well. I think so, but maybe not many. In the morning, I feel my nerves, but when I get to the venue, everything is gone. I'm 100% relaxed, chilling, but in a good way, balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And when, getting closer to the performance, I'm just trying to focus, just focusing on the task. And I never was like, oh my God, what if this, what if that? I'm not the type of person who does it, but I just try to focus on my performance, get a good feeling, feel my body actually.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm on the court doing my stuff, I'm focused.
Yeah, that walking.
So no actual, no secrets about it.
Yeah, that walking into the venue and not feeling those nerves, that's confident. That's when you're like, oh, I'm gonna kick ass, man. That I miss that feeling. I only had that a few times in swimming where I walked into the venue, I look at the pool, I look up, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna kill these fuckers. It's only been a couple times, but that's the best feeling.
That's why I love competing. It's being on the edge, feeling the energy running through your body. This is why I love competing. This is why I love doing this whole experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so for going back to the visualization that you do like weeks prior or a week prior, is there like a certain thing that you visualize? Because for a lot of athletes now, that's more of a practice that they're trying to put into kids' minds or like into their routine before a big competition or match, because it's so important to do that visualization. And like growing up for me, like we would always laugh at it. We were like, oh, that's pointless. I'm not going to lie down and pretend I'm racing in my head. That's stupid. But it does actually help a lot. So is there like something specifically that you think about, or like just the match in general?
Definitely not just imagine. This is a mistake many people make, actually. They just try to think about it. But for me, it's about iterating everything that could happen. What is, of course, the optimal result, feeling the confidence inside yourself, and doing everything as perfect as I can. But actually, for me, the more important part is, what will I make if something doesn't work out as I want it? So I try to make hundreds of plans. What if this happens? Okay, I do that. What if that happens? Okay, I have this solution. So whenever something in the competition happens, I'm prepared. Nothing can really shock me because I visualize it over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that helps you build resilience too. Like when you're faced with like a loss or something.
Yeah.
That's another point I wanted to get to. So mentally handling a win and a loss. So before we get to the loss, because I always had problems with this personally, and I know a lot of people who can't take a loss very well. But for a win, how do you stay in the zone and not let your ego or confidence after a match like get to your head too much?
Maybe I'm not the best example for your question in this case, because I've never done that.
Mm.
I don't know when or how this developed within myself, but I never was like, okay, I won, getting the ego, like you said, getting the ego, or maybe some kind of arrogance, like, yeah, okay, I'm good, yeah, let's go. I never was like that, because every time I win, I'm like, okay, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm happy. But then it's like a button switching in myself. I'm like, okay, let's go. Next, check. One, next challenge. Let's go.
Mm.
And I'm directly, starting to get back into the next task that is coming. And it has always been, every time I won something, it has always been like that, except one time when I won the bronze medal in the World Championship. This was the only time in my career when I was like, exhaling and saying, okay, I'm good for now.
Yeah.
I'm good. But even when I won the European Championship first time and also the second time, I was happy, of course, and 50 minutes. And then I was like, I'm hungry. I want more. Let's go.
Mm.
And I never thought like, okay, I'm so good. I can chill now. I don't care. I'm going to win anyways. I never thought like that. I don't know when or how it came up, but maybe it's the beginner mindset, the humility that is coming through Taekwondo as well, that got me there. But I can say it for sure. I can only say that it is like that. Winning mentality is not like getting arrogance has never been something for me, because I hate arrogance a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's a big difference between winning mentality and ego or arrogance. Like the winning mentality isn't it's like a confidence thing. It's like in your head you go, yeah, I know I can win, as opposed to, yeah, I'm so good, like, oh, these other people are shit. Like it's going, yeah, these other people are good, but I'm better. Like there's a very thin difference, but there is a difference there.
Yeah. What definitely, with every win accumulates is this self-efficacy. I know I can do it. Every time I win, this is something, because you mentioned and you led me to this thought. Um, okay, every time I win, I do something well. I'm like, okay, I can do it. Yeah, let's go. But it's just focus on myself, not on the competition itself or the result. It's only within myself. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know that I can show under pressure what I'm capable of doing.
Mm.
This is definitely something that comes with winning, but this is natural, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like in life too. Like when you go to a job interview and like over time, all the job interviews you do, you get the job or you do really well. Eventually you're going to go into there and go, yeah, I'm pretty good. It's like, it's no matter what you do, like anything you practice for a while or have success in for a little bit, like that confidence builds up eventually.
Yeah.
So on the other end of that conversation, because I feel like, for team sports, especially, a loss sucks. It does. But it's a lot less because your brothers are there. Like you're a band of brothers and you can handle that loss together, and it's kind of it lessens the blow almost. But on an individual sport level, it's completely different because it's all on you. And then, well, it's not all on you, but like mentally you believe that it is. And then even further, I feel like losing a fight is just so personal. Like I've never fought, but like when I was a kid, this probably has no correlation at all. But when I was a kid in grade 5, this kid tried to fight me and he was like, "You want to go, you little bitch?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do actually," because I was excited. I was like, my first fight ever, and I was big. I don't know if I was bigger than him, but I knew I could fight him. And then I slipped on some ice and fell, and he was like, "You suck," and everyone was like laughing, and like it was a loss, but it wasn't technically. But I remember that like a decade and a half later, like that sticks with me. So how do you personally, on the bigger scale, more professional, of course, how do you handle a loss to a fighter, and not let it kind of get to your head, or like impact your next fight?
Mhm. There's a quote from Kobe Bryant, and he once said, "Overcome your ego. Just, don't put yourself too important. Your ego doesn't matter." And I try, I try to focus on the end goal. What is my end goal? And if I have this clear for myself, if I have this clarity, I know that one loss against one person isn't humiliating me personally. It's not like, yeah, I've beaten you, Steven. You lose something. I didn't bet my house on it. I didn't bet my, it's not. I lose a fight, but the end goal is still clear, and I don't lose money or something. So I'm really trying to put the ego back and get clarity about the situation. Rational. Try to be rational about it. Okay, I lost to someone, but did I really lose something, or have I learned something? Am I really getting away from my goal, or can I transfer this or transform this to something that makes me learn something about myself, to improve myself, to reach my goal. This is actually, it's very hard to get to this point. No, but it's like trying to seek for the truth of a situation. That's what I would say. But this is something that is really hard for an individual. Actually, I see it with a lot of people. When they lose, they are really devastated, of course. But seeing the clarity and the truth of the situation really was a game changer for me. Okay, like I said, I lost to someone, but I'm still the same valuable person than before. I'm still Steven, I'm still fine, I'm still good, I'm still healthy, and it's sport. Of course, we have our goals, but come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I knew a lot of people, and I was like this too. Like growing up as a kid, you would lose, and like you would see some of the swimmers like punch the walls and scream and like cuss out the refs and do all of that, and you're like, man, that's a little extreme, isn't it, for like a minute of your time?
Yeah.
I did the same thing. Like there was one race I was racing in Montreal, and I added like 0.3 of a second, like literally nothing. And it was like a middle meet, so we weren't even training that hard for it. And I remember just losing it. And looking back, I'm like, for 0.3 of a second, you're gonna make a fool of yourself. Like it is hard to get to the point you're talking about, but that it goes back to that winning mentality. Like when winners can handle a loss like that. They have that mentality where it's like, what did I learn from this? As opposed to everything's ruined, my life sucks, I'm a failure of an athlete.
The problem is what you just mentioned. The problem is that I think many athletes identify themselves completely with their performance. And it's very important to decouple your performance from your identity. Because if your performance is bad, if it's coupled, if your performance is bad, your identity is always at stake and it's always in danger and stuff. But if you have, if you got it separated, you can lose. You can even embarrass yourself. If you place in the last place or so, but you're still the same person. Your family still loves you, hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe your girlfriend also still loves you. You're still a part of the community. Your teammates, maybe they say, you could have done better. Maybe they're even mad, but you're still the teammate. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I said, many people, have this fusion of their personality and their athletic performance. And yeah, if we get to this point where we can decouple it, I think we have the space, to get to this growth mindset kind of, where you say, okay, how can this result make me better?
Hmm. Yeah. When you couple your success to who you are as a person, that also just puts way too much pressure on you. Like every match or every competition, you've got this like 50-pound weight on your back, just like this pressure where it's like, if I mess anything up, my whole life is a mess. That's just the most unrealistic bar you could set for yourself.
Then you're always in fight or flight mode, always.
Yeah, and then you get so tired. Like you can only be in fight or flight mode for so long. Like if you're in that constant state for like days at a time before a competition, like do you really expect to do well? You're going to be exhausted by the day.
Yeah, maybe maybe for some people, for a certain time it works, for some time, but there has never been an athlete who never lost something. Everyone, even the best, lost at some point. So you can't really expect to always win. Yeah, that's actually, yeah, like we agreed. You have to decouple it, and yeah, that's it actually.
Yeah, 100%. Every athlete is lost at some point. Like the classic Michael Jordan example, the guy got benched in his high school team or high school, university. I don't know what it was, but he did
Probably high school.
high school. Yes. Oh, I think he went straight into the NBA. If anyone's listening and they're actual NBA fans, they're gonna roast the crap out of me. But he got benched for like his first year or something. He was like the ball boy. He's the greatest of all time. So at some point, you're gonna face something like that bar of I will go undefeated. That's met by very, very few people. So yeah, it's all about setting realistic expectations and then again decoupling your success to who you are as a person. um yeah, that's it. So kind of moving on here, I saw a post on your Instagram about uh you had a serious hip injury last year.
Yes,
and
that's true.
and people believe that, or people were saying that you were never going to compete again. So my first question about that is, when you were told that you were injured and you were never going to do the sport that you grew up doing ever again, and it was kind of just not at the end of the day, but for a moment it was kind of just taken away from you without you saying the goodbyes that you wanted. What was going through your head when they told you that?
Yeah, I actually love talking about it, because I preach a lot to my athletes, and like all the stuff that we talked about, always positive thinking. This is like my motto: always positive thinking, always forward and stuff. And this was the time for me to really show if I can practice myself what I preach all the time. So what have I felt? Everything, basically. For 15 minutes, everything negative, of course, that you can think of. For 15 minutes, when I got the call, actually, I wasn't myself at the doctor who told it. I wasn't myself. Like I wasn't with the doctor when I got this message. I got a phone call, and I was on the way to national team training. I was 5 seconds before leaving my house, to get to the national team camp. So my dad called me. He was at the doctor's. He called me and, told me the news. And first I was like, is it a joke? This can't be true. Come on. This typical reaction. Then I hung up, and for 15 minutes, I can be honest about it. There's nothing bad. I was crying. I was thinking, okay, I wasn't thinking actually. I was just crying and like, oh my God, what is happening now? It's true. But then after these 50 minutes, I was like, okay, so what's happening now? I will get a surgery. I will be able to walk. I'm thankful for all the time that I spent. I'm very thankful for everything that I've experienced. And now is another time. It's a different time now. From now on, it will be different. Okay, not the same than before, but still a good life. Come on, I can do my sports. Yes, that's extremely, extremely sad, of course, but will crying heal my hip? No, it won't. So let's go on. Let's do the surgery so I can heal, walk, and do my stuff again. And then I will be there as a coach for my athletes, and I will become a better coach. And that's the thoughts that I had in the first 1 or 2 days.
Yeah,
maybe a week or so. It's a year ago, so I don't remember 100%.
what a roller coaster, man.
Yeah, it definitely has been a roller coaster, but normally my life is always like this. It's always positive, so a roller coaster was a different experience for me. But that's life, you know. Life can always be like that. Life is always a roller coaster, so I said, okay, that's life. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'm still healthy, so.
Yeah, 100%. So, well, what caused the hip injury? Was it like during a match or?
No, it was progressing over the years of training, probably, and also some genetic components, probably. Typical hip impingement, but not everyone with hip impingements get problems. So because of my kicking, my numerous kickings over years, it became worse and worse and worse, and
Yeah, and then eventually your body just said, "I can't do this, man."
Yeah, from one day to another, actually. Wasn't feeling anything, and then one day I was like, oh, I can't really kick. 2 or 3 days before a competition came, I failed. It was a very, very bad competition. But now I know why, because I had something going up in my hip, and yeah, like I said, from one day to the other, it was like that, and 3 or 4 weeks later, I got this message, and from then on, the journey started, the adventure.
Yeah. So that journey, how long? Because you were in a wheelchair. How long were you in the wheelchair?
Not for that long, actually.
Oh.
No. It was just for some days and for the competition, because I was coaching at this competition and I had to go with crutches, and a whole day with crutches in the venue, that's impossible. So yeah, I used the wheelchair and coach with it as well. Funny experience.
That's a lot better than crutches for hours.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, because obviously both mental and physical recovery is not linear. Like you're gonna have little leaps and bounds everywhere, and like some little dips along the way. So, how were you able to kind of keep your head and vision on the finish line as opposed to focusing on these little dips? Like, because I had a terrible back injury last year where like there were days where I could only swim a couple lengths and then I'd have to get out because I couldn't move or my back was seizing. And so some days were great. Like I'd finish the practice or I'd go race, I'd feel fine. And then the next day I just could not swim. And it was super frustrating. And like I remember just freaking out all the time because it was like, what the hell is going on? Because like the one day you're up and the one day you're down. And it's like, how do you keep your mind stable throughout that?
Different aspects coming into this topic. For my hip injury, it was a lot of really understanding the injury, really understanding what is happening inside my body. This helps me a lot because when I get pain, I can localize it a little and think or better understand the whole process that is going on in my body. Mentally it's different things. Sometimes it's okay, focusing on the things I can do, control the controllable. I think everyone has heard this at some point, but I really love this quote because that's basically what I do the whole time. I can control, or to a certain limit, I can control the pain I have after a training session, but I can control what I train if I have some pain. When I had hip pain, I would do something with my arms. When I have pain in the foot or something in the lower limbs, I would do something for upper body, and same way around. I was just trying to do something the whole time and not being at home, being like in a depressed state and thinking too much.
Yeah. And how good did it feel to prove to the people that said you couldn't compete again wrong?
Yeah, actually, I still didn't have the chance to show them.
Oh, because
there were no competitions.
right.
But yeah, but it's good at some point to forget a little about the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. My mind forgets about it. It's like a coping mechanism. I hear COVID. I'm like, oh, what was that? Oh, yeah, that thing that's going on. Right.
I still wasn't able, but of course for myself, it's it makes me extremely happy just to be able to train, just to be able to kick high, to do my stuff, doing all the flips, kicks, tricks. All these things make me extremely happy and extremely grateful. Because like you introduced the situation, I was told that I couldn't do anything, no professional taekwondo or no high level taekwondo. So I'm very, very grateful for everything, and especially for the small steps. In the beginning, I wasn't really able to kick higher than hip or chest, which is low for us taekwondo people. And I really celebrated every centimeter that I was able to get higher. I really celebrated it. And maybe some of my teammates thought, oh, crazy guy again, celebrating himself about all the small things. But this is something that keeps me motivated. Every small step, every centimeter, every precise movement that is getting better, makes me feel better and keeps me on track.
Mm-hmm. Well, it goes back to that beginner mindset that you were talking about you had, because as a beginner in anything, any little amount of progress that you get, you're like, yes, it's like a little victory. When you get to that point where your ego covers everything, you only focus on that end goal, and then you don't really see the little steps. And then if the end goal doesn't go how you expect, you're like, I don't get it. But then you look back at your track record, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't progress how I should have. So it goes back to that beginner mindset. And I feel like when you are an athlete and you do get injured, it kind of makes you take a step back and appreciate those baby steps a little more.
Yes, definitely. And that's why I try to see everything as a learning opportunity, something that will at some point make you better or will help you in the future. For injuries, most people think, I can do this, I can do that. They focus on what they can do. But most people don't realize that this is an opportunity now to work on your weaknesses, or things that you wouldn't work on if you had a completely healthy body. Oh, yeah, actually, that's also the thing that I said before: control the controllable, focus on what you can do, and what you can do. Okay, just have patience.
Yeah.
Take 2 steps. Once. That's also a very popular quote or sentence: 1 step back, 2 steps forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really important to do. I was talking to a volleyball player, and she was talking about how when she got injured, she focused more on the mental training because she could do that, like when she couldn't do the physical, and then when she got the ability to do the physical again, she was like way sharper.
Yeah.
So yeah, control, or you can't control the uncontrollable, but you can control the controllable. I think I just added a part there. It sounds stupid, but it's true. So
Yeah.
when let's say there's a kid out there, or maybe not even a kid. Let's say like I guess mid 20s is still technically a kid, but let's say there's someone there who does get injured like the way you got injured and is told the same things. What would you want if you were there with them? What would you want them to hear when they're going through that?
I would like to have 24 hours just telling her or him everything that I've experienced. Yeah, but there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot, I would say. First thing, if doctors tell you, yeah, you can't come back, don't believe it.
Mm.
I heard this from many other athletes and friends from other national teams as well. Doctors, I don't know why, maybe not all, but some, tend to say, you can do this or that. But our human body is very strong. And if the mental, like the psychology and the physical parts work together, you can really achieve something great. And just think about your passion, think about what you really care about, your end goal. Is it still reachable? Is it realistic still? Okay, if it is, if you really say, maybe if your goal is to become a world champion, let's say, or maybe just a regional medalist, if you want to reach this goal, you can still have this goal if it's realistic. Of course, you got to be honest about this, but if it's really realistic, okay, have this goal. It's all right, but from your end goal, work your way back to the presence. How can you get better today? How can you get better in the whole week? How can you get better the whole month, year to reach your end goal?
Mm.
And just take it step by step, baby steps. Be grateful, have patience. So many topics that I would include, but it's definitely taking the baby steps and have your vision, really be passionate about it, and then work your way back to presence, and every day get closer to it.
Love it, man. Words of wisdom. Are you training for Tokyo? If assuming it's still a thing.
No, I'm not, because my discipline in the Taekwondo sport, we have different disciplines, and my discipline is not part of the Olympic program.
Oh.
We have the fighting, the kyurugi part, and we have the in Korea it's called pumse. It's the patterns that we perform.
Mm.
And this is my specialty. That's my part. So yeah, we are not included in the Olympics yet.
Yeah, yo, Olympic committee, man, get on that if you're listening.
Oh, we're trying. The whole sport, the whole discipline is trying for years already, but no chance for right now. We're still developing, and still trying to be more interesting for general crowds.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if I'm still in my best age when this will happen, but at some point it will happen because the fighting discipline is already inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the future's bright for you guys. Well, I mean, forget the Olympics, but I mean, I wish you the best of luck in everything. I hope your next competition you just kick complete ass, prove all those doctors wrong. I hope they're watching, and I hope they go, shit, I was wrong.
No, I can't hate on them. Definitely I can, because they have helped me a lot. They helped me a lot, and you know, a lot of support coming from them. Yeah, but you know, in this case, it's the same. Actually, the same thing that I talked about the whole time. For them, it's also a learning experience. You know, their evaluation of the situation wasn't correct. Could have been correct, but wasn't correct. Okay, so they learn from it, and maybe next time when they have an athlete with an injury that is, you know, severe but not you know, killing the patient, you wouldn't say the same thing maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad, you know, I'm just thankful for all the support. And you know, as a patient, it's also our responsibility to reflect on everything that is said to us.
Yeah.
To protect the doctors a little, because I don't want to. My doctor is a friend of mine, that's why I have to say
Oh,
it.
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? Honestly, shout out to those doctors, man, because without them, you couldn't be competing, right? Like one little blip is whatever. Yeah, man. So where can my viewers find you?
Instagram, Stevie Behn. Actually, I have to change that name, but you know, I don't know how you guys in Canada write Stevie, but you know, Steven and just E-N in the end, you take it away, and just I, and Behn, B-E-H-N. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, just with my name, and yeah, these are the normal channels. I'm, you know, with 25, I'm already in this older category, so I'm not into you know, Discord, Twitter and stuff. I don't use that. Just Facebook, Instagram, that's it.
Oh, you're one of the old ones, right? Yeah, you're not on TikTok or anything.
Oh, no. That's I'm not in that time.
Yeah, you don't have to bother wasting your time with that. You fall down all these rabbit holes and you just never get out of them. You're like, oh, I spent like 2 hours on TikTok watching literally nothing that's good for my brain.
Yeah, that's what happens with Instagram. So I try to limit it and focus more on the training.
Yeah, great call. So I'll put all those links down below. Steven, this has been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it as well. Thanks.
And to all my viewers, I will see you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of my show. If you want more episodes of the H Panel, the button's going to be right here. If you want to subscribe for more videos from myself, it'll be right down below. Please like, comment, share, give 5 stars. Let's keep this conversation going, guys, all right? I'll see you next time. Thank you for your support.